Hello.
Greetings. Hello.
Hello.
We will start chapter 12 today, episode 40. Remember I said chapter 11 was only going to be one episode because it was through the minds of others. Special request poems to add to the story. We have covered that. We have done that. And also said up to this moment, everything was written down. I wrote down preambles, and I read the poem. I wrote down another preamble to kind of lead up to the poem, kind of so I can get the flow going, keep the rhythm of the story rolling. But after those two notebooks, I wrote some more poems, and we're going to keep rolling with the story till we get these poems wrapped up, because it's only fitting, because where we're going to end up at is going to be worth the extra time. Everything here from henceforth is going to be by strictly memory alone. Nothing is written down. Only the poems are written down. So I've got to go back, and I'll be going forward. I'll be going backwards. I'll be jumping around a little bit, trying to keep up with the storyline, where these poems originated and how they came about. So please try to keep up, because it's going to be interesting. At the moment, we are still separated, me and the missus. I still live with my grandpa, but before we separated, we had a thing called we had movie night, and of course, when we started all the fighting, movie night kind of dissipated. But when we did have movie night, we had a thing we called the end dance, the end of the movie dance. As when the credits and stuff started rolling, everybody would get up, start shaking their little tushies, and start dancing and wiggling, and had a good time while the credits rolled. Until the movie was over, until the credits finished off the thing. When the credits finished off the thing, I pushed stop, I pushed eject, and sometimes I would rewind the tape. We had VHS tapes at this time. And I would rewind the tape, and I would put it to the side after I done recorded it. I recorded a bunch of movies. I had VHS tapes numbering 364 recorded tapes with 3 to 4 movies on each tape. And I had 65 tapes with adult themes, scary movies, sci-fi movies, adult themed dramas. And I had 3 to 4 movies on each of them. And the reason I kept them separated because the other movies were kid-friendly. Even some R-rated movies didn't have sex or violence or as much violence in them. I put them on the other tapes with the family group. But these particular 65 or so that I had gratuitous sex. They had violence, blood, guts, language. They were horror movies, basically, and I kept those separated. Those were mine to watch when I was alone. Those we watched together. So that was that. So I had over 420, 430 tapes. If you're asking or wondering if I still have those tapes, I do not. I at one time had thought about throwing them away in the trash and getting rid of them. But Tim and Heather decided, no. You spent too much time on those. You spent way too much effort into that. We will take them, and we will find somewhere to put them and keep them safe. So when they came by for a visit one time, I had about 4 or 5 bags of them that I fitted in the bags, and they've got them in their home somewhere. I don't know where they got them at, but they took them, and they're not going to throw them away because they would not let me throw them away. But years of recordings on those tapes. Yeah. So they took them, they put them in their home somewhere. Probably in storage somewhere, but they're not being disposed of. They're being well taken care of. But anyway, this next poem is a ode to the end of the movie dance, and it's called The End Dance. And before I get started on the poem, I'm going to give you the chapter that we're on. The chapter title is going to be called Warrior Stands Firm. This is episode 40, Warrior Stands Firm, and this is the first poem in this chapter, The End Dance. This was written in 2006, so as you can tell, we're getting closer to the climax of my story. Not the climax of my story, but the end of the storyline here. Here's End Dance. The credits begin to roll. The song that makes the movie begins to play as the outtakes come and go one by one. The show on screen is no more. The show is now the living room floor. There begins a dance that's now the norm. The real show is about to intervene. Beginning in the soles of their feet, tapping to the seismic rhythm of the theme song's beat, their heads now begin bobbing. Leaping from their seats, they begin dancing. The dancing is chaotic and goofy. But get down, they really do. The credits are now rolling. The scene becomes total mayhem, because now the entire house is shaking. The fever has hit everyone. The credits are nearing the end. Suddenly, the song ends abruptly, but no one wants it to end. Papa, Dad, please rewind and play it again. Reluctantly, I do, and then I push play. The chaos and the fun, the excitement and the joy. Credits begin rolling again. The end dance, one more time, begins.
Hey, here's something funny. Men lost at sea for 29 days say it was a nice break from reality.
Yeah. He loves to watch his little memes, where he watches his videos and stuff, and he catches these little memes that have weird sayings and stuff, and he loves to share them with me. And some of them are just flat out
Odd.
odd.
Excuse me.
And then you have that. The
Oh,
weird.
look, an ad that no one cares
And
for.
there's another ad that no one cares for. Then he has to then, yeah. Background vocals. The name of the next poem. Like how I did that. It's pretty cool, wasn't it? Anyway. Well, when Heather had her baby, we started talking a little bit. It wasn't as close as it was before. We talked a little bit here, a little bit there. Sometimes I would get caught watching Ethan. That's his name of the baby. And I'd watch him from time to time. And one time I had him in the car seat. And he took him to the store with me. And I was listening to Kobe Calais, a little sweet song of hers that played and like tickle my feet and starts in my soul and down to my feet and blah blah. You know the song. You get the idea. So it was a real cute, little pretty song. And I listened to the song and I heard it turn down a little bit and I heard something behind me. And lo and behold, Ethan was singing along to the song from Kobe Calais. It was kind of cute, actually. And Heather says he does that a lot. And that's one of his favorite songs. And he's about 2 and a half, 3 years old at this time. And, of course, he had a little bit of voice, but it wasn't clear English, but he was trying to. He was trying to sing to the song. So that was the inspiration to this next poem. But I think Jacob has something to add here a little bit.
It's. I can tell you later.
You stop me in the middle of a poem to tell me later.
It's about the Paris Olympics and how shitty it's going so far.
Well, we'll talk about that in a little while. Right now we're done.
It's kind of funny.
Anyway, back to the poem and the hand that's on the screen. Background vocals. And the reason I wrote this song is because, like I said, we was driving along and he was singing in the back of the seat, in the car seat behind my driver's seat. And I looked back there. I didn't behind the passenger seat. So I had him there, so I looked back in case he needed my attention. But here's background vocals. One morning, while awakening in bed, I heard a sweet noise mellowing in my head. I arose carefully, listening intently, glancing around the room to my feet quietly. Into each room and down the hall, the singing grew as it reverberated from the wall. The living room, the kitchen, the den door opening it slowly, stepping across the floor. The radio was playing, the singing so gleeful. But another voice from behind, happy and playful. A little tyke singing in rhythm, word for word. It was the sweetest thing I'd ever seen or heard. What do you think? Did you hear the poem? You like the poem? It's a caveman. He likes to grunt. Anyway. Just before our split up, I don't know if it's before the split up or right after the split up, we had my mom, she put on a family reunion. And wasn't very many people there. There was a few people there. Uncle Roy, Aunt Debbie, Little Roy was there. I think Aunt Addie was there. I forget who I was there. Maybe Uncle Billy. Renee, I think was there. Jeff. Of course, me and Rhonda went together and took the twins. And what we had left of the other two, Joey and Heather, I think went with us. I don't remember. I can't recall. We had a little pavilion there, and we sat there and we had a little dinner, and we sit there and chatted. And I had this little video camera. That was a side camera. And that was video recording everybody. I video recorded the Roys, Little Roy, Addie, Renee, us, Uncle Billy. I think Uncle Oscar was there. I'm not too sure. Like I said, there wasn't very many people there. Not a whole lot of people showed up. Grandma was there. And I recorded everybody. But after the reunion, we all came home at our separate ways. And then no more than a week later, I get a call on the phone. And it's Amy, bawling her eyeballs out. Saying Joseph, one of our cousins, was in a car wreck. And then, of course, I didn't know him. I didn't get to know him very much. I forget whose son it was. I don't know if it was Gay or Renee's son. I think it might have been Gay's. And then a few days later, get another call, and it's Amy again. And this time it was somebody I did know, that I grew up with, that I had a chance to know for sure. and it was little Roy. He was sitting in a traffic jam in Little Rock, and a semi-truck behind him did not see or failed to react in time to the traffic jam and slammed into the back of him, basically obliterating the vehicle, killing little Roy on impact. Yeah. Well, she was beside herself. They had to have a closed casket on the funeral. I wasn't able to attend the funeral, but I understand they had a closed casket because he was so banged, he was so messed up, and a lot of the bikers that he hung out with, he was a bike rider, and a lot of the bikers, a bunch of them, over I think 25, 35. There was a bunch of them there. Maybe even 50, I don't remember. But they all attended the funeral in his honor. And they did something in his honor too. I forgot what it was. I can't recall. But as I mentioned before, I had video recorded it. His last time he was seen alive on video or camera. And it was live action. And it was a little tiny tape. And Uncle Roy had found out that I had a video recording of it and asked that if he could have that video recording of his son, because he was an only child. That was their only child.
What the heck is this?
And I had no problem with it. I had no problem at all with it. I was honored to give him that videotape. And I'm pretty sure they took the videotape and they had it burnt on CD or something. And I'm pretty sure they watch it from time to time. But fortunately, I had that video camera with me that day at the family reunion, and I recorded his last moments 2 weeks before he was killed. Like I said, I wasn't able to attend, but I was able to write a poem in honor of him, little Roy, and I also added Joseph as an honoree. Because, like I said, I didn't know a whole lot about Joseph. I didn't grow up with him. I didn't come to know him very well. But he was part of the family, and he deserved to be part of this honor. And so, this is a poem, an ode to little Roy and Joseph, and it's called Stepping Stones. When we are born, all we do is cry. Well, that's all we know. But as we get older, we begin to learn. We walk, we talk, we listen. At the age of 5, we begin to read and write and do arithmetic. At 12, we reach the age of puberty. We come to acknowledge the opposite sex. 17, we graduate from high school. Some of us head to college, others to work. When we hit 24, we begin to settle down and understand life's rules. 40 comes to midlife, and on to into 60, the infamous golden years. In between, however, some of us fall. Some of us are called away. Everything that has a beginning does indeed have an end, but that end gives way to a new beginning. Everything happens for a reason. Every one of us serves a purpose. So even though some of us are called away early, the time spent here was not in vain. So when that time comes for a loved one, a friend, or a companion, don't cry, don't shed a tear. Their reason for being here has been fulfilled. Their purpose has been served, and now they'll receive their just reward. Their new life has begun where there is no sun, Only pure gold. And as I said, we want to wrap this up here with this one. Heather, like I said, when she was in her early teenage years, she got involved with the drug scene. And of course, as we will find out sooner or later, I had to put a stop to it because no one else was going to. And it's not some people call it tough love, but it's not the way you wanted things to go and wanted things to end, to start new. But doing what I did, as you'll find out soon enough, it changed her life. But before her life would change, she would lose her few of her friends. And one of them was Melody. She was a passenger in a car, and her boyfriend decided to run from the police officers.
That's a dumb idea.
Yep, and they did a check on the car to try to stop it, and it spun off and hit the ditch, and I think they're both killed. And every time we passed that particular spot on the road, Heather remembers her. So I decided to honor her, even though I never knew her, in a poem. I do that a lot for some strange reason. Because it's the right thing to do. People deserve to be honored. People deserve to be remembered. And Heather cared about this particular individual, so I made it part of my poem collection. The Streets of Gold is the name of this poem. I can feel your presence, your touch, your warmth. I hear your distant cry, somber, quiet, quaint. A whisper in the darkness, a shadow in the light. Life fading, but yet beginning. The old becomes the new. The new home so bright, no need for any sunlight. I will see you there someday, but not now. I need to wait. The beauty and glory of it all, and you, and the streets of gold. It was short, simple, sweet, but, you know, it was something that needed to be done. Anyway, we're going to end this segment here, this episode here. I'm going to try and put two episodes in chapter 12. This will be the first episode, episode 41. We'll do here in a minute, and that'll be episode 42, and that'll be in the end of chapter 12. We'll do in chapter 13 the next time we meet. So we're going to wrap this episode up here. And then we'll get back and do a double feature, and we're going to do episode 41 and the ending of chapter 12. No warrior stands firm. So give me a few minutes. I'll be right back. In the meantime, take care.